Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. Alan sent me his 550 to take a peek at. Wouldn't run, if I remember right. It's been a while since we emailed. If I remember right, he was saying that he thought it was a spark issue. So, my favorite way to test one of these capacitor discharge 3-piece setups is to just put a little fuel in there and roll it over. Well, that's what I did. But I didn't get the response that I wanted to get. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. You spin this spark plug back in. I'm just going to finger tighten it. There's no reason to go any further. And I don't even need to put that back on. This girl has next to no compression, which is a problem. Well, I guess I should be technically accurate. It has about half the compression it needs to run. Let me get the gauge back out here. I don't know how long it's been sitting, but that little charge of fuel that I dropped down in the cylinder, or from the carburetor, should be enough to lubricate it a little bit. You know, if the rings were completely dry, that would be enough to wet them down, provide a bit better seal. So we're going to give this 5 pulls. Okay. We have a whopping 60 psi of compression, which again is about half what it's going to take to run. So let's do a quick disassembly on the bottom half here and see if we can figure out what it is. The reason I say the bottom half is it almost always is going to be, if they're scoring, it's going to be on the muffler side. Because obviously that's the hottest part. Not always. Seen scoring on the intake side where gobbledygook has gotten past the air filter, or the air filter's just not there, but I know that's not the case in this saw. That was the filter that was here, and there's just the normal amount of debris in here. Nothing real bad. So let's get this apart. On these 550s and 450s, we need to get this throttle handle brace loose. And almost always the washer comes off the screw in about that many pieces. Just a quirk of these things. Okay. Now, with this guy safely out of the way, I've got to remember, yeah, those are a socket head. There we go. And I already know what's going to happen if I keep going on that, so I'm going to get a different setup that doesn't have a ball end. These ball ends are really cool right up until, isn't this typical, right up until they round off on you. And then they aren't as cool. There we go. So I'm going to break these loose with a standard square end. Maybe. There we go. No matter how many times I do that, I just don't like that sound. There we go. Now we can go back to the ball end. In case you guys are wondering what I'm talking about, that allows you to move this from side to side and still screw and unscrew something, but you can't put an enormous amount of torque on them or you'll just round it out. These aren't the highest quality tier inches ever. They're from Harbor Freight, so you treat them accordingly. And there's one. Screw you far enough. There we go. Now there should be, yes, nice and hard to get to, this guy and this guy right here. We will see. see if we can finagle. Booyah. Ha! Smooth move, dummy. Yeah, I think I can already see what I need to see, even though I don't have this heat shield out of the way. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the socket on here in that tight little space. Nope, that's just asking for something bad to happen. And you and I both know that bad things aren't good things. Let's see if we can get the wrench on it. Ah. Well, that's dumb. I don't want to spend that much time on video to take this whole thing off, but I guess I will, because I really want you guys to see this. So, throttle handle and the tank are all part of the same assembly. Whew, that hose is rock hard. Good Lord. Bring this camera over closer. Oop, there goes a plug. So you can see some of what I'm doing. I see those comments when you guys say, hey, I can't see what the hell you're doing. And I'm trying to remember as I get into this. So the choke rod is just kind of a tight fit here. Spring tension. I'm going to pop it out. In theory. Normally they aren't quite that stubborn. But because I'm doing a video, it will be that stubborn. Normally on the closed position, here's where it's... Well, we'll see if we can finagle it once it's loose from the... Once the carburetor's loose here. You do have to take that damn oil hose loose. This design wasn't what I would call one of Homelite's greatest when it came to ease of assembly and disassembly. And you get by, but easy, it's not the way anybody's going to necessarily describe it. Alright, the pulse hose is still connected, but that's probably garbage. Oh yeah. Not in good shape. Now we can get that choke to come out, I think. There we go. Now we'll slide the carburetor screws back out of the grommet there. Now that little rotation pops the carb off. Oh boy. Well, you know, this thing may have ingested some sand at some point in its life. See those scratches on the top of the piston? Hard to say. We'll keep going with disassembly here. Hadn't intended for this to be a disassembly video. What the hell? Let's get the airbox loose from the tank. I'm still thinking might be able to get the tank off without pulling this all the way. I'm not sure. It's been too long since I've done one of these. Don't work on a whole heck of a lot of 450s and 550s. And I really don't know why that is. I guess for most guys, if they were going to pop for a saw that was a decent size, they might have gone ahead and gone with the 650 or 750. I might. Yeah, Yeah, I might just be able to get that tank off. Leave the throttle in place. So a big difference between the 450 and 550. Oh God, now I'm trying to remember. I know on the 650 and 750, the 650 itself did not have this fifth mount. I don't know if that's true on the 450s or not. I'll double check that as I'm processing the video. Throw a caption up. In any case, on the 550, you do have 3 of these AV mounts on the tank. Oh, would you look at that? And that's the oil supply line. Now we can get access to that heat shield. And there's 2 more on this heat shield. And the double as the snubber mount. And that washer exploded too. If this saw goes back together as a runner ever, need a few new screws. Now that plate is aluminum, that's why I'm trying to be a little bit gentle with it. Once it deforms, kind of a bastard to get back into shape. And even when it's not totally deformed. There we go. Alright. I'm going to do something about our old oil hose here. Here. Oh boy. Yeah, she's grenaded. Damn. I hate giving somebody news like this. Alright. I think you guys can see the top of the old piston there. It is pulled right over the rings. And it has scored the full length of the bottom of the piston. Damn it. There she is. Hopefully my head wasn't in the way the whole time. I don't think so. Alright, that explains 60 pounds of compression. So I'll get with Alan and see what the fate of this saw is going to be. One thing I know for certain, it will not run with this engine assembly.